Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Proposed Warriors trade would move Andrew Wiggins for elite defensive center. After finishing 46-36 and missing the playoffs, some form of change seems likely for the Golden State Warriors. In a proposed trade from Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report, the Warriors would change things up in a big way. The trade lands the Warriors' Jarrett Allen for 2021-22 All-Star Andrew Wiggins. If the Golden State Warriors are going to squeeze anything of significance from the remainder of Stephen Curry's tenure, they have to upgrade their roster around him, Buckley wrote in his April 23 column building 5 trades from NBA rumors. Since they don't have money to spend in free agency, and won't even if they let Klay Thompson and Chris Paul walk, they'll have to hit the trade market to make that happen. The proposed deal from Buckley sends Wiggins, Tracy Jackson-Davis, and a few first-round picks to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Maybe a change of scenery would help get him back on track. He doesn't have much, if any, trade value on his own, but package him with promising prospect Tracy Jackson-Davis and a few future first-round picks, and Golden State might be onto something, Buckley wrote. Maybe that's even the package that gets the Cleveland Cavaliers to cough up Jarrett Allen, who's never been an easy fit with Evan Mobley. During the 2023-24 season with the Golden State Warriors, Wiggins averaged career lows in points, assists, and steals. The former number 1 pick averaged just 13.2 points per game, nearly 4 fewer points than his 17.1 average the season prior. Wiggins also took the fewest three-point shots since the 2017-18 season, averaging 3.6 per game, shooting just 35.8% from three-point range. However, Wiggins was named an All-Star 2 seasons ago and was playing some of the best basketball of his career. In the 2021-22 season, he averaged 17.2 points and shot the second highest percentage from three in his career at 39.3%. Buckley wrote that the Warriors will have to remind teams what the former All-Star is capable of, especially on the defensive end. As poor as things went for Wiggins this season, the Warriors will do their best to remind other teams he was an All-Star and their best defender during their 2022 title run. That was a while ago, but he is only 29 years old, so his sagging stats shouldn't necessarily be a sign of any age-related decline. In an episode of All the Smoke released on October 20, 2022, Klay Thompson spoke about Wiggins' impact. "I'm so grateful for Andrew," Thompson said on an episode of All the Smoke. "He makes my job so much easier. I watch him, like, bro, I can't believe you have to chase around Doncic and Tatum and Morant all game and then go get us 20. I'm exhausted watching you play." Trading for Allen would give the Golden State Warriors a different dynamic on the offensive end. He was named an All-Star in the 2021-22 season, averaging 16.1 points and 1.3 blocks per game. In every season of his 7-year career, Allen has averaged at least 1.2 blocks per game. Buckley wrote that Allen would be the anchor of the defense and someone who could finish lobs at the rim. Get Allen to Golden State, though, and he could be the anchor who gets the defense back on track and the automatic lob finisher who ups the potency of this attack. No, letting Klay Thompson walk won't allow the Warriors to sign a star. The Golden State Warriors should re-sign Klay Thompson. That's my position and I believe it quite firmly. Many out there feel quite differently, you might be one of those people. This isn't an article trying to convince you to feel differently, though I'll probably write that article tomorrow, or later this week. This is just an article to set the record straight on a bit of misinformation I've been seeing floating around Warriors fans as everyone sets about on the 6-month mission of trying to figure out how to fix the team and get the Dubs back in contention. I've heard from a lot of fans who think the Warriors should move on from Thompson and use the money on a different high-profile player. They cannot do that. For better, if you want Klay back, or for worse, if you've proposed such an idea, the Warriors cannot do that. Not because the free agency market is lacking, though it is. Not because a one-and-done postseason flameout will dissuade free agents from considering them a top-tier destination, though that's possible. Because they, quite literally, cannot do that. Let's do some quick and dirty back-of-the-napkin math. Assuming Gary Payton II opts into his $9.13 million contract for 2024-25, the Warriors have 8 players under contract for the upcoming season. That means letting the free agents, including Thompson, walk, letting the players with non-guaranteed team options, Gue Santos and Chris Paul, leave, and not picking up Kevin Looney's partially guaranteed deal. The total of those 4 contracts? About $134 million. The salary cap for the upcoming season? $141 million. As a CBA refresher, the Warriors are allowed to go over the salary cap, as they have for many years now, and appear prepared to do this year. They aren't prohibited from going over the cap, they're just penalized with a whole bunch of tax payments. But they are prohibited from going over the cap to sign outside free agents, unless they're on minimum contracts. If they want to spend heavy, it has to come from re-signing their own players, specifically, the ones whose bird rights they have. If they want to get silly and give Thompson $40 million, they can do that. If they want to restructure Paul's contract and bring him back for $15 million a year, that's totally fine. But if they want to sign Pascal Siakam for even $8 million? No can do, pal. There are other potential ways to lower their salary cap obligations and free up space. They could restructure Payton's deal to shave off $1 million or $2 million. They could, theoretically, trade Andrew Wiggins or Draymond Green, but the odds of a Team A having the cap space to take on such a contract, while B actually wanting those controversial, highly compensated players, and C being fine not shedding salary in return seem slim to none. And even if they did pull off a stunning trade and, let's say, dealt Green, they're stuck trying to convince a high-profile free agent to sign with a team that just finished 10th in the West, and then got rid of Green, Thompson, Paul, and Looney, while Steph Curry enters his age 37 season. And oh yeah, they still have 6 roster spots they need to fill. Those cost money, too. There are reasonable reasons for thinking the Warriors would be best served moving on from their bulldog and boat-loving Splash brother. Perhaps you think the Warriors need to start disassociating from the dynasty and commit further to young players. You might think Thompson, despite having better-than-you-think numbers in 2023-24, is simply not good anymore. Maybe you want Joe Lacob and the ownership group to avoid as many tax penalties as possible, so that they're feeling flush when Curry and Green's contracts expire, and the next era truly begins. These are understandable, logical, and reasonable beliefs. But wanting the Dubs to part ways with one of their Hall of Famers so they can use the money elsewhere? Not possible. Sorry. Warriors star could reportedly join Victor Wembanyama on Spurs. One of the many questions that the Golden State Warriors need to figure out is whether or not the team is keeping Chris Paul for the 2024-25 NBA season. Paul is currently on a non-guaranteed $30 million salary next season that the Warriors have until June 28 to make a decision on. Should the Warriors not choose to keep Chris Paul, the San Antonio Spurs seem to reportedly be a team to keep an eye on. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, the San Antonio Spurs could be a potential suitor for Chris Paul to pair veteran presence with Victor Wembanyama. Here is the exact excerpt from his article. A potential team to watch, should Paul and the Warriors part ways, is San Antonio, Stein said. Among the early personnel rumbles in circulation, the Spurs could emerge as a Paul suitor if they decide to pursue some veteran know-how on a short-term contract basis to furnish presumptive Rookie of the Year winner Victor Wembanyama with more seasoned help in year 2. While Steve Kerr mentioned that he wanted to bring Paul back and Paul himself said he loved being in Golden State, anything should really be on the table for the Warriors this offseason. After not even making the playoffs this season, the Warriors should be shedding any unnecessary salary right now. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Chris Paul? Leave your opinion in the comments.